Welcome back to another Rose City Reptiles video. I'm Joey. This is Rose City Reptiles, and in today's video, it's exciting. We've got some more baby tegus hatching out. The next clutch, it's incredible. It's from Topaz and our high blue female. So producing some high blue tegus. So you guys that have been waiting for those, they just hatched out this morning. So we're gonna go inside and check those out. But we're also gonna talk about the cycle of a tegu. Okay, there's a lot of information. Well, I wouldn't say a lot. There is some information out there that talks about brumation. I think most of us watching this video is familiar with brumation and what brumation is, and pretty much, to put it simply, it's when a tegu goes down for winter, similar to hibernation. They go to sleep, they slow down, most of them don't eat, and so yeah, so that's what brumation is. But we're going to talk a little bit more about leading up to brumation, because their behavior changes so much throughout the year. And so yeah, we're going to discuss that in this video. And I also made a couple brumation videos last year that would probably help a lot of you new owners out. So at the end of this video, I'll have them linked. They'll pop up on the screen at the end of the video, and you can click those and go check out the brumation videos part 1 and part 2 that we made in 2019. So without further ado, let's get inside and let's check out those new baby tegus. Alrighty, so here are our 2 containers full of babies. We're about to have a baby explosion here whenever I open these up. These guys hatched out throughout the night. I've kept them in the incubator for a few hours this morning, and now they are ready to be put in their home. So I'm going to put pictures of the parents on the screen right now. That's the dad, and that's the mom, and these are the babies. So as you guys know, these are going to be some really beautiful babies. We are excited about them, but let's get these ready. We're going to have ourselves a little tegu explosion here. Look at these little guys. I love blue tegus. Welcome to the world, guys. Oh, he almost jumped out. Crazy. Look at that. Look how beautiful. I mean, they're almost like gold in color. Look how beautiful they are. I mean, these are fresh hatchlings. Like they came out this morning. You guys can just see how beautiful they are already. Look at that. Really, really pretty. Baby blue tegus. Very different from black and whites and reds. Make sure there's no more in there. Yeah, very different, but amazing. I love just watching the blue tegus change. They change so much as they grow. Start off kind of dark like this and just develop color and turn white, and just one of the most rewarding animals to watch grow. So let's see, I bet there's a bunch still hiding in here. They love this sphagnum moss. They love to hide down in it. Come on, guys, y'all come on out. Never gets old, guys. This is amazing, and it's always wonderful whenever they just hatch out on their own. And it's 100% hatch rate, all healthy, perfect babies, fully absorbed yolk, everything. Amazing. Okay, so let's see. Oh, we got one more down in there. I think that's it. Better make sure. Okay, so that's all the babies. So here they are. Here are the babies. Let's bring them over to their tub, get them set up. We've got 20 of them, so I'm going to put 10 per tub, show you guys how I have those set up in the lizard racks, and then we will discuss a topic that I've been wanting to talk about with everyone for a while now, and now's a great time because we'll get into that in just a minute, but let's go ahead and put these away and then we will jump right into it. These guys are going to be raised for the first couple weeks down here in these tubs, lizard racks. You can see they're very simple. I know that's what I need in order to give these guys the best care that I can. You know, they've got their water dish, some cork bark, a tube. I have some sphagnum moss in there, and their hide, you know, that they can go underneath. And then in the back, that's the basking light, UVB bulb. And this just kind of goes in and out. Okay, so we're gonna get 10 of these little babies. And we're going to add them into the enclosure. Okay, so that's 10. And they're just gonna kind of explore around a little bit. We will feed them later today. I have some papaya and some ground quail that I'm gonna give them. They may eat it, they may not. Sometimes, you know, the first couple days, they're kind of just living off that yolk that they absorbed right before they hatched out. And they're more focused on learning their environment and not getting eaten by a predator. So that's why babies hide a lot. It's pretty instinctual. Here's the next tub set up same way. Cork round, cork flat. I like cork bark. It's nice and light. And then we got the water dish and everything else. So let's get the rest of these babies. I think there was 20. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one's crazy. All right, there's 10. So yeah, 20 babies. Let me get this sphagnum moss. I'll just toss them right there. All right, so that is the babies set up in their enclosure. We'll get that closed, and then we'll be checking on them throughout the day. Before we jump into the next segment, why don't I give you guys an update on some of these albinos, if they're not too finicky. Look at this guy. They're doing really good. They're growing a lot. They're probably about doubled in size. But yeah, they're looking really, really nice. I don't know how many we'll keep, but we're for sure keeping this one right here. This is that dark one that we hatched out, and this is kind of the goal, is to produce these really dark albinos with, you know, nice contrast in color. So really excited to see this one grow up. I can't imagine what it's going to look like as an adult. So subscribe if you haven't, so you can follow along and see this little guy grow up here at Rose City Reptiles. Or girl. I actually haven't even checked because I don't care. I'm keeping it regardless. All right, so now we're going to head out into the yard to talk a little bit about Tegu brumation and just like the cycle of a Tegu that it goes through every year. So let's go do it. So when discussing kind of the cycle of a Tegu, we're going to break it down into 4 parts. 1, coming out of brumation, breeding season for number 2. Number 3 is going to be like late summer or really midsummer, and that's going to be going into brumation. And number 4 is going to be actual brumation itself and kind of what that looks like. I'm going to talk about my experience. Y'all's might be different. Everyone's timeline is different. Their weather is different. Some keep them outside, some keep them inside. Some tegus don't brumate, some do. So obviously these guys are all individuals, and it's going to look different for everyone. So just keep that in mind whenever I'm explaining my experiences. So my tegus wake up in March. That's whenever I typically put them outside, depending on weather. And you know, it takes them a couple weeks to get going, but once they do, they are pounding the food. And to me, so like they wake up and they just start eating food, and that's whenever I feed them pretty heavily. When at the beginning, like in spring, you know, I feed them at least 3 times a week for the adults, sometimes more for some. And so I feed them heavily, and it's almost like, you know, I know they're preparing for breeding, for egg laying, and then it's almost like they're also preparing for the summer. And in the summer, so let me backtrack a little bit. I want to make sure I explain clearly, so bear with me. So yeah, so they wake up, they eat a lot, and then they breed. I believe feeding them heavily, like food cycling, is something not talked about very much with tegus. To me, it's almost as important as brumating your tegus if you want to breed, if not just as important. When they wake up, slam them with food, and what I believe that tells them is this is a safe place. This is a place that is a good place to lay eggs and to bring more babies into the world. So with that being said, let's jump into part 2 of the tegus cycle. Okay, so now we're talking about breeding season. Not all of us are breeding tegus. That's okay. But all of us have tegus who are either male or female, and they go through somewhat of a change during the breeding season. Females might want to, they might be more territorial. Same with males. They might be more territorial during that time of the year. So that goes back to, you know, their temperament changing on the season. Females might want to eat more. They also might want to eat less. They may be not as consistent with their feeding schedule. You may offer them food and they turn it down. And this is just coming off of when they're eating a lot, you know, the part 1 of the cycle. So they're eating a lot, and now they're going into breeding season, and now sometimes their eating is inconsistent. You know, when the females start ovulating, some of them stop eating, some of them eat more. So it's all about learning your animal, that specific animal. So just like us, how we're all different, same with tegus. So picking up on those little cues really helps a lot, getting to know your animal and their needs during, you know, each time of the year. And something that really helps with that and understanding your animal and reading their needs is you can only really do that accurately if you are caring for them properly. Because otherwise, if you're worried that they're not eating and you don't know what your basking temperature is, well, then you can't say like, oh, well, okay, I'm learning this animal and maybe it's because of the time of year. You know, that gets a little bit complicated. So what I recommend to everyone, and this is pretty obvious across the board, make sure your husbandry is on point so that you can read these behaviors effectively. Okay, so now we're going to jump into part 3, and this is the main part that I wanted to discuss in this video, and something I don't think I've ever seen any information out there about it whatsoever. So let's get right into it. So part 3 is what I'm going to call the summer blues. It's when it's really hot, breeding season's over, brumation is approaching us, and think about it. Compare where these animals are from, or even where you're from. This is probably true almost anywhere. Spring. What's happening in the spring? Things are blooming. Animals are out. Food is abundant. What about late summer? No, things are starting to die. Animals are not out as much. They're staying hidden. There's less food. And these tegus respond to that. I have several. Out of 50 tegus here, there's at least 5 or 6 that aren't eating anymore. Like, I'm feeding them and they're not eating. So, and I'm not concerned about that. I trust that my husbandry is good, and I trust that animal to make that it's making, you know, these instinctual decisions, and that it knows what it's doing. Now obviously those animals look great physically. They're in perfect shape, perfect health. but they're slowing down already, even though it's 100 degrees out. And that's really a big reason why they're slowing down. So during this time of the year, there's a few things that I do that I think are really important for our animals' health and their well-being. One, I make sure I provide plenty of water, okay? With these hot temperatures, and it doesn't matter if you keep them inside or outside, you still may see these changes, okay? They can feel the changes even if it's outside and they're kept inside. Not all of them, but some of them will still react to your specific weather in your area, or even not. So like I was saying, water is really important. For what I do personally is I run a sprinkler every day for 30 minutes. It cools the enclosures down, and then I replace their water every other day. So that's a lot of water. All of the enclosures have big bowls. So replace that water every other day and run those sprinklers, and that really helps out. Even with those tegus who aren't eating, they'll still come out and get a drink and bask while those sprinklers are going, but some of them don't. The tribrids, they're already down. I think they're down. They haven't eaten in almost 2 weeks now. And so that's something I want to talk about is just the pre-brumation phase. Some of you guys are going to have your animals starting to go off of food. And as long as you're confident in your husbandry, there's nothing to worry about whatsoever. Trust that animal. And instead of being worried about it, just look at it as such an amazing thing. These animals have the ability to slow down, to not lose weight, and to stop eating because food supply may be low. Like, that is incredible that these tegus can do this. It is amazing. Brumation in general is just an incredible thing. Like, these animals can slow down. They slow down their breathing, their heart rate, their metabolism, everything just slows down, almost completely stops. And they can go without food or water and just sleep through the winter when food supply would be zero, and they survive. And not only do they survive, but they thrive. So it's really amazing. But yeah, so some of you guys are going to start seeing your animals going off of food, slowing down, changing their habits, changing their behaviors. And you know, that's just what tegus do. It's amazing. That's what they do. They slow down, their personalities change, everything changes about them. So so what I want to encourage everyone to do is not freak out, but just observe your animal, check your husbandry, make sure you're checking your temperatures, making sure they're right, and doing what you need to do on your end so that you can actually sit back, relax, and enjoy your animal, enjoy watching its behavior. So I feel like sometimes fear steals away joy in the hobby. So I want more people to be confident in their care for their animals so that they can enjoy observing them. That's one of my favorite things to do, is I come out here. Let me show you all my view. I get to come out here and I just get to watch my animals, and I get to observe their behavior all year round, and I truly, truly love it. Like, I can't imagine keeping them any other way. Let's check out this girl. I did feed this morning and gave fresh water. Her eggs are next to hatch. She was bred to crime scene. They're gonna hatch here in the next 5 days or so. But yeah, I mean, I love coming out here and just observing them, and I don't necessarily have to worry. Now, of course, I'm in Texas and I've got these great outdoor enclosures and it works really well, but I don't have to worry about their husbandry. Look at this little guy. And so it just creates it to where I can just watch them and I can watch their behavior. Let's see, we got tribrid female down here. She's gonna act all tough and defensive. Like I said, I fed them this morning. Look at this enclosure, so much grass growing in. If you guys remember from the beginning of the season, there was no grass in here, it was just dirt. So they've done well. But yeah, so that's my encouragement to y'all. Get your husbandry completely figured out. If you don't, most of you probably do already, and which is that way you don't have the fear of am I doing this right? You know, approach it with confidence and truly enjoy your animal, even if they're being snippy one day. I mean, for me, I don't mind. Like, I see instead of seeing it as like, oh, it's aggressive, I see what an amazing thing this animal is wanting to, you know, protect its area, or, you know, something like that. I don't know. It's just a different mindset. And I know that if I know that it's defensive of that area, instead of just being mean, how some people like to say, you know, I'll think, oh, it's a protective of this area. Let me see if I can get it out. If I can get it out, then now I see its real personality and see how friendly it is, you know, or something like that. So it's just a different mindset. But yeah, just wanted to touch the surface on this. I know it's not a ton of information, but I'm just touching the surface and pretty much saying brumation is more than just a tegu sleeping during the winter. It's so much more than that. It's all year round. It's all connected. It all happens for a reason, and I think it's pretty amazing. So thank you guys so much for watching another Rose City Reptiles video. The next eggs due to hatch, I believe, are crime scene eggs, like we said just a bit ago. Really triple, quadruple excited about those eggs. We're still selling shirts. We're actually low on stock, I believe, on everything. So I'm probably gonna order some more. But yeah, you guys have been extremely supportive. I appreciate it so much. And remember, those brumation videos, I've got them up on the screen now. You guys can check those out from last year. I think they'll be very helpful for some of you guys. Really involve the community on those. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next Rose City Reptiles video. Bye.